What's up everyone, welcome back to my pizza channel. This is the pizza guy John, and today we're going to be making some dough using the Le 5 Stagioni flour. This is some really good flour. It is AVPN certified, so a lot of restaurants in Italy use this flour. Also, if you're Vera Pizza certified, again in the United States, they probably also use this flour. Really good flour. It is good for long fermentations. So being that it is good for long fermentations and it is a strong flour, I'm going to be making a Biga recipe. So let's go ahead and take a look at the recipe here. And so basically I have the pizza app and I'm just going to be kind of following the stuff that I've posted in here. And so I'm going to be doing 72% hydration. Normally I try to keep my dough at 70%, but I'm going to try something a little different. You know, this is more of an experiment. So I'm going to be using, again, that flour also at 72% hydration. I'm going to be doing 6 dough balls at about 260 grams. Total time for room temperature, I'm giving it about 6 hours or so, and then I'm going to be doing 48 hours in the fridge. So again, like I said, it is a good flour for that long fermentation. I'm doing 50% Biga, so I'm just basically using 50% of the flour today, and then the other 50% on Monday, or again 48 hours after. I have my active dry yeast here that I have done, and so I've done 105 grams of water here. I got the other percentage of the water, and then I got 455 grams of the flour, and again 2.46 grams of yeast in here. So again, like I said, it is activated. So let's go ahead and get all these ingredients mixed into our bowl. Again, you could use a bowl if you choose, or if you have your proofing trays as well, you could use this to kind of just get everything incorporated. Or like I said, if you just have a bowl like that, you can. So whatever works for you is perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and just get the flour in here. All of that, make sure everything's in there. Kind of just get that there. And like I said, here is the yeast mixture. So we'll just kind of get that in there. And then I'm gonna just use the rest of the water, kind of just get everything else. And kind of just get that mixed. Make sure all that's there. All right. So at this point, you can basically kind of just mix it like this. You could use your hands, whatever you choose. That is up to you, but I like to kind of just do it like this. Gets everything incorporated. And if you do have a spatula, you could also use that. So let's go ahead and actually get that. So it's gonna get our scraper. And you kind of just want to mix it. Make sure that all the water, again, like I said, is incorporated. And once that is like that, then at this point you could kind of just get all this. And you want to make sure that all that's in there. Alright. And this is a really good flour. I have used it already. It's light, airy, has a real good flavor. I wish I could get more of it, but you know, fortunately it's not so available to me in my area. So I do have to get it purchased online, which is totally okay. So we'll go ahead and just get the rest of this taken off here. And let's just get the rest of this. Like I said, kind of just want to get all this incorporated here. And like I said, this is the easiest way to do it, using this here. If you have a bowl, you don't want to use it too much, but again, this is probably the best way, as long as you don't make a mess. So just kind of get everything else incorporated here. Like I said, you want to get all the flour basically kind of hydrated. So all right, so now at this point, we're going to go ahead and just leave this covered for 2 hours. Now at room temp, and then we'll come back and then we'll put it back into a container where we'll then put it back into the fridge, like I said, for 48 hours. So we'll come back and we'll take a look at it here shortly. All right, welcome back. It's been 2 hours now. As you can see, the dough looks a little bit different. The water has basically kind of gotten into the dough, so that is looking good. So what we're gonna do now is basically we're just gonna scrape this down. Let's get all the sides, and you can smell it. It smells really good. Like I said, this dough is this flour actually is really good. It just smells really nice. So we'll go ahead and just get all this scraped. And you could use your hands, whatever. And we're just gonna go ahead and get this put into our bowl, into our container. That's gonna go into the fridge for 48 hours. And I wanna make sure we get every piece here. All right. And kind of scrape the rest of this here. Just get all that on there. All right. And that's fine. All right, so now we'll go ahead and we'll get this covered and we'll put it in the fridge 48 hours and we'll come back and then we'll finish it off. All right, welcome back. As you can see, today it is now 48 hours later. We have now taken out the Biga from the refrigerator. So we have that here. And we're gonna be adding the rest of the ingredients. So we have 455 grams of flour. We have 450 grams of water, 27 grams of salt, and of course the Biga. The flour again that we are using is the Stagioni. And again, I have the ingredients and everything here on the pizza app, and I'll go ahead and just put a photo of the breakdown of how, again, all the ingredients came together. So we're gonna go ahead and get the Biga into the mixing bowl, the water, and then we're gonna kind of get that broken down, and then we'll get everything else added in. Alrighty, so we have the Biga all placed into the mixing bowl as well as the water, and you could smell it. It just smells really good, gives off a good aroma. So let's go ahead and get this into the mixer, and then we'll go ahead and get this mixing. And again, the mixer that I'm using, you could use a KitchenAid. You could do it by hand a little bit harder because it does have to be broken down a lot. So again, the mixer that I'm using is my Famag mixer IM8S, and let's go ahead and get this mixed in for a while. And basically what we're doing is we're just kind of breaking it down a little bit so that we could go ahead and get the rest of the ingredients. I'll mix this for a little bit and then we'll come back to it. All right, so this has been mixing now for a minute. We're gonna go ahead now and just get the rest of the flour added in here so that it starts kind of breaking it down a little bit more. We won't do all of it, we'll just get a little bit in there for now, and we'll continue to mix this again. And so we'll let that go for a while. And again, this dough is going to be a 72% hydration. Normally I stick around 70, but wanted to give a 72% a try. See again if it does result in bigger and airier crust. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this mixed. We'll turn it up a little bit actually. And as you can see, it's coming together, it's breaking down a little bit more. Again, if you were doing this by hand, it does require a lot more kneading and kind of everything to kind of get it to break down. But if you have a mixer that has a spiral, again, this would be the easiest. Again, if you do have a KitchenAid as well, you could definitely do that with this. But again, this is going to make 6 dough balls at around 260 grams. So again, it'll make a 12-inch pizza. Alright, so we're about 2.5 minutes in. We'll go ahead now and add the rest of the flour, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredient, which is going to be the salt. So let's get that in there. And if you've used this flour before, let me know. Again, it is Le Fai Stagioni. First time using it, but it already, I can tell that it has a real good sweetness to it just by the smell. So That is a plus. And again, it's certified. A lot of restaurants do use it, so it is going to be a good flour. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed down for a couple minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how everything's now coming together. All right, so it's about 7 minutes and 45 seconds in. As you can see, the dough is pulling together a lot more, starting to come together, looking a lot smoother. So we'll still give it about 8 more minutes or so once it looks a little bit more smoother, and then we'll come back and show you once it's come together fully and shows like the pumpkin. So yeah, we'll come back here. All right, so we're getting close to the 15-minute mark. As you can see, the bottom of the bowl is getting a lot cleaner. Everything is now fully coming together, which is really, really nice. So here in about 30 seconds or so, we'll go ahead and get this shut off. We'll do a temp check, and then we'll also go ahead and let this sit in the mixer for 15 minutes to kind of let the gluten and all that form. So yeah, let's give it a couple more seconds here. And like I said, this is basically what you want it to look like. Like I said, it comes all together. The bowl is clean, nice and clean, and it's kind of forming. Again, like what a lot of people say, pumpkin, ice cream looking super smooth. So this is really the best part now. So we'll go ahead and get this cut. And I'm just going to use another thermometer that I like to use. It's also a meat thermometer. And we're just going to check the inside. We're looking about 72.3.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's actually pretty perfect. You don't want it to get any hotter. Let's go ahead and do a window pane test. Dough is soft. A little bit, we definitely could go a little bit more. But at this point, really, like I said, we'll let it sit in the mixer for 15 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and do a final mix, and then let the other process go. So we'll come back and... All right, so it's been 15 minutes now. The dough has been resting. We can go ahead and take a look now and see. It is a little bit stronger. It has changed. So we're gonna go ahead and just do a quick little mix of the dough, and then we'll go ahead and take it out. And then basically at that point, we'll let it sit at room temp for 1 hour before we do the balls. So let's go ahead and get this mix. Just give it a couple of seconds here. As you can see how that is all put together really nicely. All right, so we'll get this cut off. We'll get that up, and then like I said, we'll go ahead and let this sit at room temp for 1 hour now in a big ball, and then we'll go ahead and then get the balls formed. So we'll come back shortly. All right, so 1 hour has now passed. As you can see, the dough has basically grown a little bit more in size. So now at this point, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and separate it into 6 dough balls at 260. So I'll go ahead and show you how I do that. Dough is nice and soft, which is good. And so like I said, with the scale, weigh it out to about 260. You go bigger, whatever, it's up to you. It's about 238, 240, almost there, 266, so we'll cut a little bit off of that, 259 and a half, 260. So now at this point, we'll go ahead now. And the way I like to do is kind of just push it in, twist it in. So you're basically just kind of pushing it into the middle. And what you're doing with that is you're making it tight. Put on a flat surface, then you're going to go ahead and just kind of pinch in. Pull it together. You can see the air right there, which is really good. And once it's like that, then you can kind of turn it over. And you basically want something like that. So we'll go ahead and do 6 more, and then we'll let that sit at room temp for about 2 hours, 3 hours, kind of depending on the room temperature. You basically want them to double in size, and at that point, then they're ready to go. So we'll come back here once they are fully ready and ready to make pizzas. Welcome back. So it's now time to make the pizzas. As you can see, the dough has basically doubled in size. It's gotten a little bit bigger. And so while that dough is ready, let's go ahead and take a look at the oven that I've had on now for 30 minutes. And in the center, we're looking about 890, 893, so that's perfect temperature. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get the dough. Let's get this guy right here. And like I said, this is the Biga. It was at 50%, 72% hydration with the Lift 5 Stagioni. So again, we'll get this in here. We'll get this flopped a couple of times. All right. And really airy, which is nice. And again, this dough ball is about 260 grams. So we'll go ahead and get this on our hands. And the pizza today is going to be a burrata with tomatoes and sauteed bell peppers. So we'll get this a little bit bigger. All right. And it's just going to be a simple sauce. So we'll get that there. And we're just going to put the tomatoes down. All right. And get some bell peppers here. Get some more color on there. All right. And then we're gonna go ahead and just get it straight onto the peel. And we'll do one final stretch here. All right, and we'll go ahead and get it straight onto the oven. And we'll get it turned down. Just kind of, all right. So got a little bubble in the middle, but that's totally fine. Go ahead and get this spun around now. And like I said, I like to put it back in the same spot so that again it cooks the bottom nice and even. And we'll go ahead and get this spun around again. You can hear those tomatoes popping. And see, with the Biga, it does result in a pretty big airy crust, so let's make sure that we get all this cooked nice and even. All right, and just like that, we'll go and finish this side off right here. Let's take a look. Yep, perfect. All right, so here we have it here. As you can see, it's cooked nice and even. Let's go ahead now. Let's get the burrata on top. Try not to break it. And I'm just gonna put that right in the center. And we'll let that sit for a couple of seconds because of the heat. Let's kind of let it loosen up a little bit. And then we'll come back and get it cut, and then we'll get a taste. All right, perfect. So the pizza is now cooled down. There's the burrata. Let's go ahead and get this cut into. And we'll just get all this on here. Not as satisfying as you would think, but we could kind of just get this kind of spread out. Get all this opened up. just a big cheese ball. And let's get a slice and let's take a bite out of this and see what this tastes like. For that crunch. And we'll just get a small piece here. All right. And so again, burrata cheese with tomatoes and bell peppers. So let's get a bite. Really, really good. It's creamy. You can get the tomatoes, the sweetness of the tomatoes, the crunch of the bell peppers. It's a perfect pizza. So thanks again for watching. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Turn on that bell notification to be notified when I do make new pizzas or post a new video. Check out my Instagram at the Pizza Guy John. And again, I look forward to any more videos. And thanks again.